Hi again everyone, as you can see this is a Hornby Great Western Pannier tank engine. This was sent to me by Peter again, and he said that it sparks when it's running and it's hesitating and often needs a push. So let's give it some power. Oh, it's not doing anything. No, so let's give it a push. Oh dear. Let's try in reverse. Okay, it's kind of got two speeds, stop and full speed. So we'll take it to the bench and see what's going on. So the little Pannier tank engine, I get asked about this locomotive quite a lot. I get a lot of emails asking how to repair things or what should I do with this and what should I do with that. And quite often it's about the Pannier tank engine for some reason, so they're obviously very popular. I mean, a very distinctive engine. I remember my friend at school had one of these, and I kind of wanted one back then, back in the 70s. So let's get into this and have a look. Yes, surgical gloves. Finally got myself some because I was finding the oil and grease was getting really ingrained into my fingers, and that's not very good. So, bit protection. Right, how do we get into this? I think, oh yes, it is a side entry one. God, I've not done one of these for a long time. Screw in the side. It's being a bit temperamental, this screw. So I think it's going to have to be, there we go. Out it comes. And that should just lift off. There you go. And there we go, it's an XO4 motor. Looks in pretty okay condition. So why has this been running so bad? The wheels don't feel stiff. Yeah, it does look very dry, and I wonder, I think that's not too bad. I wonder why this hasn't been running so well, but well, oh, I see why. Yeah, an awful lot of dirt on the commutator. So we'll be cleaning that anyway. Right, still haven't got myself a brass screwdriver, but we'll get one, or I'll make one. Someone did suggest you can, make one out of an old bit of track from the rail, from a bit of track, which is quite a good idea. So I might try that. Right, do that. Might as well undo the brush retaining clip. If you come, there's one brush out. That should come out. That other brush will come out. And then the motor should come out. That. Yeah, it certainly needs a bit of a clean. Alright, what are these axles like? So they're not seized at all, so that's okay. Bit worried about the size of the flanges. I've been caught out with that on the class 31, and I know the issue with the IVIC class I worked on recently. It'll run on the track okay, but it'll probably get a bit grumpy on the points. Right, okay, well we'll certainly clean all this up because there's too much oil in there. So we'll do that, but motor first of all. Yeah, let's get the manky brush in here first of all. I'm just going to wipe the commutator first of all with a dry cotton bud. And the slots between the poles and the commutator are pretty gunged up. So, toothpick, that's what we were using for that, wasn't it? Yeah, a lot of gunk between the poles. Right, T-cut time. Just dab it on. And then wipe it off. And then give it a good scoosh with the contact cleaner. Okay, so the magnet's nice and strong, but I'm going to remove it because I want to get into that rear bearing. Come on, what's going on there? The slot in that screw is really narrow. Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Well, that's a new one. I've not had this problem before with an exo motor. There we go, got it. Pull the magnet out. Yeah, that bearing is very, very, very dry. Get a great big load of gear oil in there. Put that in there. You want the south pole of the magnet to be at the top of the motor. We'll give this a bit of oil. So there's a thrust bearing either side of the front plate. So I want to get oil between the front plate and the thrust bearing on either side. And then oil between the thrust bearing and the worm. And a little bit between the thrust bearing and the commutator. So that's wherever the thrust bearings are rubbing against either side has now been lubricated. So we'll remagnetise. Just make sure the north pole of the magnet is pointing this way, and pop it into the remagnetizer. Give it one press, and then another press, and I like to give it a third one just for good measure. And that should now be nice and strong. See if I can screw this thing in with its little really thin slot. There we go. Okay, so that's all nice and clean and oiled. We won't know if it's a screamer until we get it running. Alright, let's have a look at this. We've got pretty dirty pickups, but actually the axles are all pretty clean, so it's not too bad at all. It's just a bit oily. I think we're going to have to take this pickup plate off so I can get the pickups cleaned properly. I don't need to take it right out, I just need to pull it out so I can get access to give them a bit of a clean. I think we'll just get some T-cut on them. We'll give them a little bit of a bend, not too much, just to make sure they're making good contact with the wheels. And then get this back into position, like so. So I think we'll clean the wheels. I'm wondering is this going to be a T-cut job or a rotary tool job. Let's try this wheel and see what happens. I'm going to try the rotary tool on this because they look quite rough, and I think sometimes, you know, the brush will polish the wheels as well as clean them. Yeah, that's way better. So I don't know how well you can see that, how nice and shiny that is now compared to that one. Alright, we can put this back together. Well, no, I can't because I've got to clean the brushes. What's that state then? They're a bit old looking. I don't have any of these in stock at the moment, so I'll just need to make do with them. Where's my little thing? We'll stick them in some contact cleaner. Oh, I've just noticed something. Just shows you. It's a crank pin. Where's that come from? Oh my word. Crank pin come out there. Dear me. Shouldn't come out. Why is that suddenly gone really, really loose? I wonder if that'll just tap in. It should just tap into the rod. There we go. There we are. Oh, is that coming out again? No, that's fine. That was close. If I hadn't spotted that, that crank pin could have fallen on the floor or something, and things could have got a bit nasty. Like that. Put this clip on. Put the brushes in. And see how this spins with the battery. Got a funny feeling it's a noisy one. We could try replacing the rear bearing, but we'll see. Get a big load of gear oil on the drive gear and on the worm. Get this back in. That in place. Screw the motor down. And that, in theory, should be that. Test track. Right, just want to check that crank pin. Yeah, we're all okay. Right, we'll stick the body on. Not the best place for that. I would have thought down the chimney would have been better on this model, but because it's kind of tricky getting the screw in there. Oh. And all of a sudden, when you put the body on, the noise appears. I wonder if I could get some foam in here though. See, does that allow this to fit? Well, it makes an interesting sound. I just got a horrible feeling that's going to be really loud on the layout, so but we'll go and see. We'll go and try it out. Okay, let's turn on the power. No, that's not bad at all. Okay, so it's actually running surprisingly well. Nice smooth pull away, no hesitation over points, no lumpiness in the running at all, but it is way too loud. So there's two things I can try. I can try replacing the rear bearing. If I've got any left, I'll need to go and check. And I can maybe pull the worm one way or the other, mess around with that and see what happens. But we'll go and do that and see if we can get this any quieter. Okay, so I've had this in bits again, and I've replaced the rear bearing. That's the rear plate and bearing there, that's the old one. So it's the bearing that sits just behind the magnet there, because that can get worn and it generates noise. So I've replaced it, I've remagnetized it again, and let's just see. Yeah, I think that sounds better. And let's go and see if that's made a difference, if this runs any quieter. Okay, let's turn on the power. I think that sounds better. So it's definitely running an awful lot quieter with that new rear bearing. So I've hooked it up to all the wagons that Peter gave me, and we'll give this a few spins round the track. So that's this old Hornby Pannier tank running again. Normally I'd be getting this packaged up and sent back to Peter, but he said if I could get it running again, I could keep it. So it's another donation from Peter. What a guy. Peter, thanks so much. I'm going to have fun with this. I think what I might do is I might re-wheel it, because it really doesn't like points at all because of those big flanges. So I'm going to see if I can get some replacement wheels for it and make it run really nicely. But we'll see. I'm going to have some fun with it. But again, thanks so much, Peter. Right, okay folks, catch us later.